I live, it's a nice square of the location. It's like, motherfuckers are going to come here any chance they can. If they get opportune, they're going to take it.
Right. We've gone live. Woo!
And where I live, I think we're all a bunch of rednecks. So, you know, everybody's got guns. Nobody really breaks into anything here.
Well, the problem is knowing. I mean, that's the problem from an opportune standpoint. It takes what, 30 seconds, 2 minutes? You know, if you are home or on home, or those lights are on or lights are off, and it's just, it sucks. And even if you've got a fucking surveillance system, there's not much you can do. That's the other problem. It's like, well, congratulations, you saw it happen. Short of fucking hot wiring the car up to the mains or putting a fucking claymore in the damn driveway, there really isn't a huge amount you can do to leave dead bodies lying around to deter other people.
Yeah. And we're starting to see, I'm starting to read more about, because a lot of those cameras and you know, IoT stuff is wireless because people are too lazy to run wires or whatever. So they're jamming signals.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough because, I mean, you know, again, half of ours are wireless because it is a royal pain in the ass to run. I mean, we got fucking, it's, what the hell is the weird siding? We've got some strange ass bloody siding stuff that we have on here. This like it's like a plaster putty pass, whatever the hell the stupid ethos. There we go. With ethos, I mean, drilling through that and doing that kind of shit. And I mean, this house is solid built and it's a pain in the ass. So what do? You chuck wireless up. Now, some of us are a little sneaky and run them on a couple of different networks and shit, but even so, yeah, I don't know. It's there's no, I mean, that you won't ever stop. We know this. You won't ever stop somebody. I mean, we've got, the other thing we've got are some pretty decent lights. So it's like, you know, at least we'll let them know they're going to get seen. You ain't going to be able to sneak around in the darkness, motherfucker.
Well, and that's where I can stand to upgrade a little bit, right? Like I have outdoor lighting, but I'd probably behoove me to have a brighter motion light.
Yeah.
Because they had to get up close to the house.
Well, that's
the part I get uncomfortable about is they were close enough to the front door.
Wasn't there somebody who like booby trapped like one of those like a Trump sign or like a Biden sign?
Yeah,
had it in their yard and booby trapped that shit.
Yeah, because they lost. I remember reading about it. This is going back a while, and they lost several of them or something like that. And I do remember seeing something like that. And I think they ended up catching somebody who then got charged. And I hate to say it, rightly so. I don't care what your fucking political statements are. If you're going to go on somebody's property and deface it or do something else, I don't give a shit whether you believe it or not. Don't fucking do it.
Right. Because I thought about doing that. I mean, I live in a place where I just don't have to deal with it, but I don't know. If I did, maybe I'd booby trap some shit. Like, you know, come get up in the morning and some dude fell in your hole. You'd be like, hey, what's up down there?
The problem is, the problem with this, and it is a problem with this country. The problem with this country is if you left them alive and you left them in one piece and you left a trail, they'll fucking sue you, or the family does. You know, if you actually dispose, this is the problem. It behooves you to kill somebody and it behooves you to get rid of the fucking evidence. That's what I just find incredulous.
Yeah. Well, there's that. And even if they do get caught, you know, they're usually back out on the streets again in a week.
Yeah. So at that point, it's like, you know, seriously, I seriously put a hole in it, just fucking fill the hole in and be done with it. Oops, I'm sorry, I didn't see them there. I was ready to pour concrete in the morning. I didn't realize that somebody was dumb motherfucking enough to do this shit. Now you're gonna have concrete blocks all around the lawn, but yeah, you can do something pretty with them. Right.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. It's but you know, there's a lot of parallels between that shit and what we see in you know, in information security too, right? Usually it's opportunity, right? Somebody scopes out a neighborhood, looks for houses that, you know, look like juicy targets that, you know, maybe don't have protections. Maybe they do have their car doors open. Maybe they do have, you know, the garage door open. I mean, those are easy targets. And a lot of times those are the ones that get hit.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing with like information security, right? You got 3389 open, you know, or like, you know, Chris was complaining about yesterday, you know, IAS 6 just kind of dangling in the wind. You know, those are easy targets and you kind of expect those things to get tipped, but then you got the ones where it's targeted, right? Let's say I'm specific. I got something against you, Ryan. So I'm targeting you. well, now I'm going to scope out your joint. I'm going to figure out your comings and goings when you leave, when you get up in the morning, when you go to bed. And figure out time. I'm probably while you're sleeping, I'm going to, just walk around the house, check some windows, but I'm not going to attack yet. But I'm trying to figure out what my best opportunity for success is. Eventually they're going to probably get in, right? They're going to figure out, well, the best way I'm going to get in, I want it bad enough is just to break the fucking window on some weekend when you're not there. And, that's how I'm going to get away with it. And the same thing happens with cybersecurity, right? If you're targeted, you're going to get fucked. But that's not the point, right? That's really, really rare, right? If you're not walking around making yourself a target by, maybe being a dick or, flashing around, nice, expensive shit all the time or whatever, making enemies, you're probably not going to get targeted. So there's so many parallels between that shit and what we see here. It's risk management. We leave our doors unlocked a lot out this way because there's just not a lot of risk. The threats are very low, right? Threats and impacts, right? So I don't know, man. It sucks to see you go through that. Thank God that they didn't fuck anything up. Otherwise, I'd come and see you and help you. We'd go track some shit down.
I know, and that's the thing, right? It was just tossed. No damage, none of that, right? Now, part of that is because they know the cops aren't going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That is a not getting involved level event, right? Hell, they don't do anything if they steal the car, if your keys are in it.
No, right? You won't get a lot of insurance won't cover that shit either.
So, but don't keep anything of value in it. It was just unnerving to come home. Find that because I don't like people lurking around the house when I'm not.
You didn't leave an unencrypted laptop with person
I didn't.
From the hospital there?
I didn't. You know what they stole? My oil filter. I was gonna do an oil change when I got back, but they left the oil. But they took the filter.
It's like $7, right?
Yeah, I can't figure it out. Yeah, they stole one of your books. I have a box of your books in the car, and one of the books was down.
Why the fuck would you steal a book? Most of them don't know how to read.
So at the very least,
yeah. One of the advantages, and it's kind of by on accident for me, is somebody asked me this week if I was a morning guy. I kind of was. It depends on the day. Like some days I'm a morning guy, some days I'm a night guy. And sometimes I'm up still working at 2, 3 in the morning. Sometimes I get up at 2, 3 in the morning. So if I was one of those people that you were going to actually target, you'd never be able to figure out a fucking pattern here. I mean, I'm all over the place. And it's not because I'm doing it on purpose. It's just, I got ADD. So I don't know. I might be up till 3 o'clock. I might go to bed right now. I mean, fuck, I don't know. But I can just imagine if somebody is scoping out my shit, they're like, what the fuck is with this guy?
Yeah, why the fuck doesn't he have some kind of damn schedule that we can at least track him down by?
Yeah, we were supposed to, we met here at 10 o'clock tonight because, this was the plan, and fucking guy's still up. Exactly. All right, let's wait till 11. What the hell? 2 o'clock in the morning. Fuck it. Let's try again tomorrow. And then they'll. He did go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, so we'll come back. We'll meet tomorrow at 4. And then I get up at 3 o'clock the next morning. Like, what the fuck?
The one upside of our industry is it's so fucking erratic.
Yeah. I honestly can't. I don't think I've ever, and people, I don't know if people believe me, but I don't think I've ever gotten up the same time 2 days in a row.
I think I did. I mean, in the military, I did. I mean, you didn't have a choice.
Right.
Outside of the military, actually, I know I have early in my career, when I had to catch certain buses. This is before driving, so I had to catch certain buses and stuff like that. I know I did definitely then. After the military, it's probably been a little bit more erratic. Definitely. Even when I've had like regular permanent jobs, it's been I will be in around these times, and there's trying to think if there's ever been one of those where thou shalt be on point at exactly 0900 or anything like that, and there really hasn't been a huge amount of that. Thankfully, I am fortunate that way. I know a lot of people do not have that flexibility, so I kind of cherish it, shall we say.
Yeah, the clock in, clock out kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I cherish. Now I say that I cherish it, but there are times, and I would imagine you two might also agree, there are times when that grass does look greener on the other side. I clock in at, let's say, 0900 and I clock out at, 1700 and I'm done.
It only works if you truly have that job where your responsibility ceases. You're
They're
done.
out there. They're out there.
They
I mean,
are.
there's plenty of them. And I know I'd be happy doing it for maybe I might be able to, I would probably be able to last a few weeks, maybe a month.
Nursing. I had a buddy leave IT to go to nursing because it's still, a high knowledge job. It's a hard job.
Yeah.
But when he's off shift, that's not his patient anymore.
Yeah.
He may never see that person again. It's, and he did. He the whole reason for it was that it was very relieving. He didn't like the fact that he'd go home and he was still at work. And he'd be in the shower and he'd be at work. That doesn't happen now for the nursing because next patient, next shift.
Yeah. Not totally.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I get it. I don't know. It's not as fun though. I think you solve. I think you get to solve bigger and better problems when you don't punch in and out.
Ooh, all right. Okay, let's. All right. So here's a different way of looking at it. I punch in and out. I put my 40 hours in. I then get to choose what I do with the rest of my time. And I would argue I can choose more effectively. I'm not beholden. And if I choose to try to solve world hunger or world poverty or something else on my own time outside of my normal 40 hours, I can probably do that. Now, flipping that around, we do get a lot of choice as to how we deal with ourselves in this industry. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one.
I think it depends on the person. I mean, for me,
yeah,
you can't put me in a box. I mean, it's just I don't work that way. I don't even understand myself sometimes. You know what I mean? Like when I'm motivated, when I'm most creative, when I'm able to focus versus when, I'm just all over the place. And that's one of the reasons why I can't get up at the same time 2 days in a row, because I just don't know what the fuck's going on. There may be one night where I'm just like so in the zone that I'll pull an all-nighter.
Right.
I don't want to go to bed. I'm in a zone. I want to finish this shit. This is awesome. And then I'll go like, all right, one more thing, right? If I just get to this point, that'll be a checkpoint, and then I'll quit. And then I'm like, fuck it, I'm still going. I'm like, and then another checkpoint. I'm like, fuck the checkpoints. That's not working. I'm just gonna go until I fall over, or I've fallen asleep at the keyboard before. Like, what the fuck? Oh shit! I should go to bed. I did that. I don't know what. Recently, I couldn't stop working, and then I fell asleep. And Violet, my dog, there's a chair right next to my desk at home. She jumped up and was licking my ear. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? But I converted a bedroom. And so there's a bed in my office. It's like the awesomest thing ever, because if I have 30 minutes between a meeting, I'll go take a 15-minute nap.
Yeah.
But some people can't do that either. Turn off, turn on.
Depends on the day. Some days I can, some days I can't.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's why it's the blessing curse. The ADHD is the blessing curse. Because when you want your brain to run like that, oh sweet, you can get a lot out of it. When you don't, because you're tired and want to go to sleep, but can't until you unpack some like super complex problem that 3/4 of the way into thinking about it, you're like, why am I thinking about this?
Yeah. I think I have the ADD where you can put things in boxes, So like when I go to bed, I just close all the boxes. It's almost like I can mentally like see it. Like, I'll be thinking about something like, nah. And it's almost like, I don't know, it's fucking weird. It's like, I'm going to put that in its box, close the box. Okay. and then I go to sleep. I don't know, it's weird. Marlis, it drives Marlis crazy because she's wired like a ball of wire. I mean, she can't shut down sometimes. So I'm sound asleep, and I think she gets pissed off because I wake up with bruises. I think she's beating me while I'm sleeping. She's so pissed off to wake the fuck up. Suffer with me. Whatever, lady. That's the way it is. So today the topic is this thing, and this is a recent event, but it happens often. You know, I think it seems like, I don't know if you guys ever feel like we're living in different realities. Like I took the red pill, and it seems like so much of the rest of the world took a blue pill, right? I see these things. I'm like, that. Look at that shit. I mean, hello, it's right in front of you. Doesn't that, like, do you want to fix that? And they're like, what? They don't even see things that to me just seem so obvious. And so that's always been the case. And then you start to think, well, is there something wrong with me? Or maybe there's something wrong with them. I mean, I just don't understand how you just don't get this straight up logic, right? I see this, therefore this, I mean, that shit just seems to escape people. And we've talked many times about, trying to speak their language. And I swear there are times when I'm speaking your language. I'm using normal words. I'm not using, a bunch of fucking acronyms and high-tech things to make me seem smart. But you're still not getting it. You know what I mean? And as hard as I can, I'm like putting myself in your shoes, and still not getting it. And then, so it hit home this week because a friend of mine, he's relatively new to information security. He found me originally in the Unsecurity podcast, and that actually was one of the things that motivated him to get into security. So, I'm grateful he's on our team. He's a wonderful person. I love him. I love what he's doing. So he reached out. He's got these frustrations. He works in this organization where he's inadequately resourced. He doesn't have budget, doesn't have attention. That he's a team of one in an organization that should probably have a team of 10, maybe, if they were doing this shit right. It's a big organization. And, he was reaching out to me, maybe a month ago, and just saying, man, I'm feeling like I'm burned out. I care so much. I want to do the right thing. He's in this for the right reasons. He sees like the reality that we see, like the red pill reality, like people are getting taken advantage of. I want to do something. I want to help. I know I don't have a lot of experience, so he's kind of talking his way out of it. And it's like, no, man, you're right. What you're seeing is there, right? Now we got to figure out, what's the right approach, right? How are you going to navigate these waters? Well, a few weeks, maybe last week, he sent an email. Maybe, whatever. It was ballsy for sure. He sent an email to the, we'll call it the CEO, or, whatever, the head person sent an email to the assistant. In the email, he shared the email with me. It wasn't threatening at all. It was legit. It was just, hey, I've got these concerns, and I'd like to just help, I love the community. It was just a really good email. Well, then the next day he gets called in by his manager, and essentially, and I put it in the show notes, the verbatim, but essentially it was, the board doesn't give a shit about security. And they don't, and it's not our job to educate them. Stay in your lane. Basically, like, what the fuck are you trying to do? Stop trying to help people. Get back to what you do. Oh, and by the way, I hope you don't take this wrong, but you're really valued here. I mean, it was just like this, what the fuck? What reality are you living in?
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of what precipitated. I think the show notes probably, explain it better than I just did. But so I want to talk about that. How often do we run into boards of directors who just don't give a shit for whatever reason?
I got a call 30 minutes before the show tonight. Young guy that I'm working with. Same basic story. This one wasn't an email, it was the verbal, but it was, hey, here's what I found, like actively going on, and was told, stop what you're doing, stop looking. They called the insurance agency to see what the coverage was currently at and if they could up it. And no, nothing has happened.
That's insurance fraud.
And so
that's fucking insurance fraud.
So he was asking what the right course of action was. I told him I would ask you gentlemen as well, because I'm like, ooh, that's kind of a stick of dynamite. For sure you want to leave.
That's fraud.
But like,
that's straight up fucking fraud. When you know of a loss that triggers your insurance policy and then you try to up your insurance in order to cover the loss, fuck no, man.
That's I hate to say that would be a step outside to the insurance company and a phone call on my personal phone or even a burner phone and say you might want to look into this further. Call it whistleblower, call it what you want, but that shit shouldn't fly.
So
that's criminal. You cross the line.
Yeah,
from civil
exactly.
into criminal right there.
Yep.
So I think he'll have to call like the carrier themselves, because apparently the agent is possibly comfortable with some of the attestations that have been given that aren't.
Does the FBI have a
well, because the carrier is probably on the hook for it, so whatever they can do to try and pass the value further up the food chain and not have to deal with it themselves. Oh, and they'll get their premium too.
No, fuck, man. I don't know. I'm still kind of hot about this one too. I kind of want to figure out how I'm going to take care of this. You know what I mean? In a different way. Because you have people leading this organization who due to these shitty decisions, your shitty management, you're putting the public at risk. And I mean, I don't know, when you know, I mean, it's almost like if I would have had the blue pill on this one, like never known about it, be like, all right, whatever. But you know, somebody gave him the fucking red pill, so now I know it, and now it's like, now I got to do something about it. You can't just kind of like sit on it, can you?
Well, that's the problem. Everybody else is.
Right, but my job is not to. I mean, that's what I'm known for.
Yep, same.
Yeah, I know you're definitely the same. You got different tactics, but yeah.
Yeah, mine involve a Molotov cocktail typically, or something stronger. Let's face it.
No, you have to do it because you see my background, right?
Yeah, I saw that one. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I assume you've seen the firestorm on InfoSec Twitter about that. Oh, a state governor took to Twitter to inform of a data breach of some educators' data because they decoded the HTML and found the social security numbers in the HTML.
No, is this recent?
I just happened today, Missouri.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I can't make this shit up.
Are you fucking serious?
And he was calling in the FBI, and he's activating the fucking AG's office. It's going down. They're going to do all this stuff. It's like a whole Twitter thread. And then InfoSec Twitter lost its mind in a good way.
The governor of Missouri?
God, so the one thing the only thing I've been kind of half watching with some rather intriguing interest is I think it was Florida. I have to go back and take a look at it. John Cruiser said about it. Apparently journalist reported into somewhere that, you know, hey, you got a problem, and now they're being charged. They're being traced down.
Oh, great. Throwing journalists in jail for reporting.
Yeah, pretty much. And between that and I think the BurbSec, apparently one of the badges at BurbSec was somebody did not think before they did something, apparently. And I'm like, oh, you bunch of fucking idiots.
Yes, the Missouri governor vows criminal prosecution of a reporter who found flaw in state website.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
That's it. Yep. Yeah, just gotta look at that single. What the fuck? Sometimes. Oh,
do you guys ever feel like we're living in different realities? Like,
yes.
No, I don't think it's so. I'll counter that. I don't think it's the different realities. I don't, it's a prioritization thing. I think this is where it comes down to. It's a prioritization thing. And there's also a slight argument to the fact that if you take, the average intelligence, 50% are not above the average intelligence, 50% are. And I got a horrible feeling that some of the folks that have managed to do their way have done so on the backs of others and are now being found out because they don't have the capacity to necessarily understand, process, and act upon the information that's being presented to them effectively.
But therefore a different reality, I think. Because
no, it's like having a root up. So
what is reality?
It is your perception. Ultimately, your reality is based on your perception and what you put in your head. I just saw something about how WeChat, how conspiracy theories are working on like WeChat and WhatsApp outside of the US. Because the news that they're getting when they live here in the States, but they're not a native English speaker, the news they're getting from their local language, a lot of times is these YouTube channels. And it's full of this garbage. So in their reality, these things are true. In their reality, in the way that they're seeing things, that's the only information they're getting. Right. So for me, I think it's perception and reality. I've watched many, many people convince themselves of many, many things and construct, their reality around them versus what I, could see from my perspective. My reality of that situation looked very different than theirs. Take a junkie, for example.
All right. So okay. Perception versus reality. There is only, okay. So, and this again, I think comes down to data. It all comes down to data. I'm going to sit there and tell you that our understanding of climate and oceans is that we're off the edge of the cliff, whether we just hit the bottom like splat or whether we actually managed to find a fucking branch to hang on to on the way down is kind of up to us at this point. Now, that is based off of the information that I have access to. I don't necessarily believe that everybody goes out of their way to understand the situations effectively. It's the same thing with a whole bunch of different things that we have going on in the world now and with life in general. So if you want to just listen to, this goes back to the internet. This goes back to the conversations we've had right at the beginning. If I keep Googling on the internet that black equals bad, eventually I'm going to see black equals bad all the time in my feed. If I deliberately go out of my way to look for images and pictures and stories of black equals good, then I'm likely to be fed more of that. So one is, where is your starting point? And secondly, how are you questioning and what are you questioning?
Well, and I've always subscribed to the same thing that you said, Ryan. And that's why I asked the question, what is reality? Reality is perception. Because two people can look at the same thing and come up with a different reality, which is just weird as fuck. I don't understand that necessarily. Like, that it also, I think if you embrace it well, different perspectives also bring really cool solutions, right? Because you're creating a solution that applies to multiple realities versus if I create a solution from my own perception and I don't take into account anybody else's, well, that will fix how I solve the problem, right? But so often, and we've had this debate before, not debate, but talk before about, that's why the whole COVID thing and the whole, the fucking shit that went on up here and all that shit, trying to figure out the data. Because the reality to me was we're all overreacting. That was my reality. Yet to so many other people all around me, I'm crazy for having that reality because they don't see it that way. So I'm like, well, what the fuck is wrong with me? Did I take the wrong pill?
Well, no, it's so part of this is the whole digital versus analog. So according to the dictionary, the definition of reality, according to dictionary, current edition, the world or the state of things as they actually exist, existence that is absolute, self-sufficient, or objective, and not subject to human decisions or conventions.
Or bias. Right. That's bias. Yeah.
Right. Or bias. Right. So it being exactly as it is in its factualness. Perception is how we interpret our reality. And that goes on to say perception influences how we focus, process, remember, interpret, understand, synthesize, decide about, and act on reality. In doing so, our tendency is to assume that how we perceive reality is an accurate representation of what reality truly is.
You know what's weird? Have you noticed, like in the last few years, that we've been changing definitions of words?
Mm-hmm.
Because I swear I've looked up words, because I'm one of those guys too, where I'm like, all right, I don't think you're using that word right. Let me go look this up. And then I'll look it up because my own, I told you the story about my own mom calling me a bigot.
Yep.
You know, and I'm like, I don't think you're using that right. So I went and looked it up. I'm like, am I this? And she's like, oh, no, not really. Like, okay, I didn't think so. So let's find the other word maybe that you're looking for. But now you look at the word like bigot and it's like, the fuck? That's a different definition than what I looked at before. And take because people like homophobia, right? That's two words, or that's two words. The way we've made so many words in the English language is we've taken words and combined them, right? So phobia is an unreasonable fear of something, right? A phobia. And then homo referring to homosexual, right? So if you put those two together, well, then that would mean an unreasonable fear of a homosexual, wouldn't it? Or something?
Well, but isn't homo human, and therefore it's an unreasonable fear of humans?
No, maybe it's that too. But you know, but you know,
I've got cyberphobia.
You and I both at this point in time.
Oh, I do too. Fuck that. But it's weird how we seem to be changing dictionary words so then we can change the meaning of the word reality too to come up with a new. That's like, what the fuck is going on?
There was a guy wrote a book about this. I believe his name was George Orwell. And if you guys, for anyone listening, if you have not yet read 1984, I encourage you to do so. There's still a few surprises yet to be revealed.
There was another book too.
Close.
No shit.
We're really close.
Who's the guy that wrote The Death of a Salesman?
Bradbury? No.
Don't remember.
Arthur Miller.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so all right. Oh God, I hate this shit. Because here's the problem. I mean, this is, and you approach it from a mathematical standpoint. Let's do simple math on this. In our given, and this is a problem, we can't even agree that 1 + 1 = 2 because I can prove that it doesn't, and you can prove that it does. And if you ask 100 people, 99 of them at least will say 1 + 1 = 2. But I'll show you.
People will say that math is racist.
Well, it was invented by those foreign people, and it's now been taken over by the Illuminati, and we're all subject to 7s and 8s. Don't even fucking get me started on this shit. Just don't.
I'm telling you though, man.
Those bloody foreigners, those people from over there in that sandy place, they invented all this bloody shit. Don't want to do any of that kind of crap.
I read an article that said that, and I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
How? Yeah,
everything is going to offend somebody and everything is going to kill us. So if we assume that that is a good baseline, we just have to work from there.
No, I agree with you, man. I mean, when you look at something and it's so plainly obvious, and I remember having this on, I grew up an only child too. So I didn't have brothers. So you had a lot of time by yourself, and then, jail time, that helped too. But I've always thought of things like, I look at this, right? This is the color green, right? Do you agree?
I agree that you're seeing the color green because it is refracting green and absorbing other colors. So says science, but
well, I give
we'll go
you
with
an
green.
objective question. I give you an objective question. It's yes
But
or
I
no.
gave you an objective answer.
So no, give me a binary answer. Yes or no? Is this green?
Yes.
But have you ever thought, like, what if somebody else looked at this, and what if my interpretation of green is different than somebody else's interpretation of green?
Totally.
What shade of green? If we get my Amy involved in this conversation, she's gonna tell us that we've got it wrong. It's not actually green. It's seagrass
It'll
whiskey.
be lime. Yeah, it'll be fucking lime or something. It's not green, it's lime, motherfucker.
But what if
Yeah,
somebody looked at that? What if somebody looked at that and said that's red?
Well, I mean, there we go for color. Now we have a color issue with somebody's eyes. So, and that's their version of reality. Now, here's the, okay, this goes back to data. What is the truth? What's the absolute truth that we start from? Data has the same problem. How do I know the data you're sending me is the absolute truth of data that you actually sent is the same stuff I'm looking at? We have the same problem. The ability, the adversarial stuff that we've been fucking around with artificial intelligence.
Right. Oh yeah, and that's one of the things I've always been a big stickler on too. Is I asked for data. I didn't ask for information. Information is your interpretation of the data, right? It's creating constructs of the data. There's already bias as soon as you do that.
And some of it's beyond. Also, I mean, here's the other challenge. Some of it is beyond your ability to influence it. So take the visual aspect of it. If you're colorblind, you will see colors differently than I am. I'm going to look up into the sky and go, well, that's a wonderful sky because of this color. And you're going to look at me and go, you're fucking mad, motherfucker. Now, here's the challenge. If we go to science and say, dear science, why is the sky showing a blue color? Why are the clouds showing a white color? Science will explain it to us, but you have got to go there. You've got to actually do the research. You've got to know to ask the questions. And then you have to actually be willing to challenge your understanding of what you are comfortable as reality being. And you've got to challenge that internally. Unfortunately, I'll go back to my half of you motherfuckers are intelligent. The other half of you bugfuck motherfuckers shouldn't have actually got out of the fucking swamp. And that's just this country. And that's
well, and then you got the poor people that have sinesta or sinesta. It's where they hear colors and taste sounds. Like that put a link in the chat. It's a legit medical condition.
Those people just need to, those are too odd. I can't deal with them. They fall outside the math origins. You motherfuckers are done.
So like every medical study ever. There's too much deviation. We'll ignore it.
Yeah, you fuckers can go live on an island. I'm pretty sure we can send them back to Scotland or England or something.
Okay, but in the digital realm, we don't have senses. You guys keep talking about data. So I'm going to go to the physical human. You have data collectors, receptors, and processors. We all agree it's green because we have a shared set of data collectors, processors, right? I saw it with my eyes. My eyes said that's green. You saw it with yours, right?
Fuck you. What color is my background?
To us now?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with a vibrant teal.
No, right. I'm gonna go with 3.
Fucking, I hate you.
I'm gonna go with 3. Hello.
So I can take a picture of it. So
what color is it? The sound of a fart.
In my eyes, that's green. And it's actually showing here as green. I press the green button, it's green. Its translation through the digital spectrum has changed it to that light sea turtle, whatever the hell fucking. It's not, it's actually green. It's like solid green.
Yeah.
Again,
that's digital.
Reality.
That's digital manipulation.
That's the problem. So the data in the digital realm, first off, isn't trustworthy.
Yes,
it just isn't. There's too much variance and manipulation and misinformation. And if you take your other 50% of the people, well, they're not that smart to begin with. And so if they read one thing that's wrote at a 6th grade level that says, yeah, emotions and primal stuff, fear, rah, rah.
There's
And
no
then they
right.
buy into it. And if they read something at that 8th grade level, that's like, scientific process,
Right. Well,
balancing and weighing.
In the digital realm, so when you ask me that, what color that is, that requires me to interpret that, right? So I look at that, I process it in my own computer, and I spit back blue, green,
Yeah.
whatever. Now, in the digital realm, the good thing is we represent that with something finite. We represent it with a number.
Right.
Right. If it's green, if it's truly green, RGB, it's 0, 255, 0. Right. So to the computer, it's much more finite. And so we can, at least that's defined. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when you bring in the human interpretation, it becomes really subjective. Then I can say things like, well, that's lime green, or that's forest green, or that's whatever fucking green I'm thinking, or I say it's red, right? Because that's what I'm seeing. That's my perception. That's my reality. Whereas computers are much more, it's finite. It's a number. That's what it is.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see how that shows up. Yeah, that shows up as more, but that shows up as orange on the YouTube. I know, that's interesting. It's weird.
Looks like a 32 to me.
Right, exactly. I don't know. It's really okay. So here's I think where it starts to break down is when there's a deliberate attempt to misinform. So when I look at that and I see, let's say I see red or orange, but I try to convince you that it's mauve or that it's purple or that it's green, and I do my damnedest and I go online and I tell people and I do all these other things, and then that's, I think, where I have a problem with it is when it's either that data is used to misinform, that data is used to try to get the sheeple all behind me for whatever reason I need to. That's where the problem is. Or I'm using it, back to the original issue, which is, no, there's nothing to see here. This isn't red. There is no red. There's no red light here. Absolutely not. No, it's a gentle shade of yellow. At the very worst, it's a gentle awareness. There's no red light here. You're wrong.
Well, and so you say when data is used against you, well, data is so fucking powerful.
Oh,
right. In today's world. And the issue is data is being used against you. It's being used because we don't control it. We're not powerful enough to control the message. And that was the title, he who or whoever controls the message controls reality. Right. So if you take management, take this back to this, this organization. It's not hypothetical either. This is a real organization. This is a real story. It plays out right in front of your eyes. The perception to the public, I pointed out, I think, 4 realities here. One is the public. The public is, seems like they're doing a good job to me. You know what I mean? We keep doing our things with them and, whatever, everything's good. The perception, the reality for the employees is, we got our issues just like everybody else, but, we're serving the mission. As long as I keep doing my job, things will be fine. So I just kind of do my thing. The reality for management is I don't give 2 shits. My perception is I'm busy infighting, keeping my position because it's a position of power. I love the perks. I love feeling like I'm powerful and all that other stuff. That's kind of their reality. And anything that kind of invades on that, they get very defensive about it because this is where they protect. And then you've got, the analyst who's like, we're kind of getting fucked here. And so you've got these 4 different kind of realities that all kind of coexist at the same time. So which one is the truth? And what do you do about it? The same thing plays out. Take JCDC or whatever the hell the damn thing is called, right? They're in power. They're going to produce our version of reality, or the reality that our industry is going to potentially follow, right? The problem here is it will be used against you. What's their motivation? Their motivation is not to secure you. If you think that's your motivation, well, then you truly are a sheep. The motivation is profit. I need to make as much money as possible. I have shareholders who are requiring me to meet a certain number by the end of the quarter. If it doesn't, the stock tanks, I lose my job, whatever, right? That's the reality. The way I see it. Now, Does somebody else see the reality differently? Obviously. But that's the struggle, because I think you hate to see the sheep get slaughtered because they just don't know any better.
Is it they don't know any better, and also they don't care?
But if they did know, they would care.
Would they really?
Yes.
Well, we've talked about it, because they're going to die.
We won't care when we quit talking tech. Talking tech led to a state governor spouting off about decoding HTML. That's what talking tech has gotten us. I just want you to recognize that is the actual problem. That's why the people at the top said, stay in your lane. Don't bring this to our table. Or the alternative that I've run into a lot lately is that's going to cause trouble.
Oh yeah. That's
we don't want trouble.
Yep.
And while you're right, we don't want trouble.
Well, you see, and there you go. The ignorance is bliss piece.
Yep.
Right. So I could talk non-tech to you all day long, but the things I'm telling you are going to require you to do something. They're going to require you to change your version of reality. Ignorance now is gone, and now you have to do something.
Well, the SEC
change the default password on your router. You have to stop buying shit all over the fucking place and plugging it in. I don't want that reality. I like this reality until you're fucked. I don't know.
We're seeing some early signs. SEC came out, said not disclosing your breach, trying to cover it up.
Yeah, like that's going to do any fucking good. I'm sorry. No, come on. Reality check. Fucking reality check.
Spoken like the jaded expert he is.
Oh my motherfucking hell, God, yes. Seriously, GDPR, we are going to fine you a fuck ton load barrel of money.
And they're backlogged on the fines for the next 24 months.
Right. And
that reminds me of HIPAA too. HIPAA's the same fucking way. It's like,
right. Okay. HIPAA's the same fucking way. PCI won't fart in the wrong direction in case it loses more money. None of them have got fucking teeth. You want to do it right, roll up the fucking black truck, grab the CEO, and go fucking take them out and taser them on the lawn and then make them fucking disappear.
If you don't disclose your breach in time, it's a cage fight with Chris Roberts.
Yeah, no fucking shit. And you can be armed for all I care, because shit, it ain't going to make any damn difference.
Okay, so how do we do this in other industries? Or haven't we?
Healthcare's done it. I was actually talking to Jen about it.
Malpractice?
Healthcare's actually figured it out. They figured out communication more, and it's not perfect, but they figured out communication. They figured out the malpractice. They figured out a number of ways of tackling the issues that we are running into. And now it's taken them 20, 30 years to do it, but they're figuring the stuff out. And again, it ain't perfect.
How closely can we model it?
Well, I'm not so sure they figured it out.
I'm okay. Again, it's not perfect, but in certain areas, they've actually got some of their shit together way more effectively than we have.
Because I mean, when you take the red pill in healthcare, you know why insurance premiums are so fucking high, right?
Yeah, because the red pill got on. Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, it's so high because there's protected. It's like little oligopolies, right? It's protected for it. You know, the largest healthcare organization in the world is United Health, which is right in my backyard. They can't sell insurance in Minnesota. Why? Why can't you sell insurance in Minnesota? And another reason why, healthcare insurance is so fucking expensive is because everybody sues fucking everybody.
Oh,
right. Malpractice insurance for doctors is through the fucking roof.
Right.
You don't have that same thing. And the reason why I asked this, I just had this conversation with the doctors down in Mexico, because I went down to Mexico to get my COVID test to get back in the country. And I was in this hospital. I was like, man, this is fucking nice. I didn't know you guys had hospitals like this down here. Tell me about it. And then I started talking about, healthcare insurance and all that. And when everybody goes down to Mexico, not everybody, lots of people go down to Mexico to go get healthcare. My own wife actually went and got her dentist work done, $6,000 in Cancun. In America, $48,000 for the same procedure. And it's like, why is it so fucking much more expensive? Well, I think regulation is expensive. Somebody's got to pay for that. And because of the malpractice insurance, dentists, I mean, what if I screw up a tooth?
Yeah.
Whereas in Mexico, you don't sue people. I mean, for right or wrong, maybe you probably just end up in a ditch somewhere.
I was gonna say they handle things a little different.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Italy had a system where you had to get it approved.
But other things, I mean, every industry's got their shit, right? I mean, healthcare's got a lot of the other things figured out for sure. But it's like whoever's in control just takes it and takes advantage of everybody else. In healthcare, United Health is, I don't know, what's their revenue this year or last year?
God, probably crazy. Hang on.
I mean, it's got to be hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, it's huge. And it's like you're an insurance company.
United Healthcare revenue 2020 grew 7.9, hitting 55.1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, we can't afford health insurance as the population, yet the health insurers are making assholes.
In 2020, they posted a $4.9 billion profit, which is actually less than the almost $14 billion profit in 2019.
That's crazy.
Billion. Again,
I'm not a socialist. I'm not saying like take over healthcare. I'm just not kind of like that. But it's like, fuck, we got to do something to change this paradigm because people are getting taken advantage of.
The healthcare giant reported, and this is 2019, $257.1 billion revenue in 2019.
Damn. That's a lot of money.
You think? I mean, that's ridiculous. Again, I mean, their job, I hate to say it, ain't much different than ours. Protect.
Right?
Care, protect, whatever you want to call it. Take a simple fucking word and use it. That's their job. And so apparently they're doing pretty good. I mean, we've managed to mint a pretty decent number of billionaires. They might have a decent run on us.
Well, maybe that's a foretelling of where this industry might go as well. You know what I mean? It's
they're already looking to partner. I've gotten 2 calls this week about insurance companies and cyber providers forming new entities.
Wanting to partner with who?
With wanting to partner with the MSP themselves, making the policy coverage dependent on a particular provider.
No, God.
Well, and you just watch what happens because that's right. Cyber liability insurance companies get held for ransom too.
Well, and today we did today was Hacks and Hops at FR Secure. Phenomenal, man. I all I did was the opening and the closing, so I didn't give any talk. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, here we are. Thanks for coming. Blah blah blah, and then turn it over to these guys. And the first one was Joe Scargill, the Secret Service head of the Secret Service office here in Minneapolis. And I essentially opened with, look, we're losing. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I don't understand why we don't get to that reality. We're losing. We're getting our asses handed to us every fucking day. We're on the front lines. We see it happening. They're mowing over us. We do this, we make this little shift. They laugh like, oh, I got to change 2 lines of code for that. Thanks. And so it was cool because Joe played right off of that. Joe said the same thing, right? This is the government. This is the Secret Service. And he said, we're losing. And then it went through, the next, and it was a whole bunch of really good people giving really good talks, and they all gave truthful shit, man. It was just awesome. Lockton was there. Lockton is a worldwide, and I think they're headquartered in the UK. Lockton, the worldwide headquarters, insurance company provider.
Oh no, I'd have to check up on it. Yeah.
So he gets up and gives his talk, and man, he laid it straight out there. He goes, if you're going up for renewal, you're probably not going to get renewed. They're going to deny you. That's the reality. They're losing too much money. So now they're taking it seriously. So now they're saying things like, if you don't have these things in place, you're not going to get insurance, period. So now you got to get over this bigger hump than you've ever had to get over before. Things like multi-factor authentication. And so one of the questions that one of the people in the audience asked, we had like 1,000 registrations. I mean, it was big. Was multi-factor on what? His answer was, well, that's a good question. We're not sure. It was like
Everything.
No shit.
No,
Exactly.
it's not
That's
everything.
it. Yeah.
Well, it would be everything when it comes to your claim, right? Because you think about the insurance, these are for-profit companies.
Right.
They don't want to pay your fucking claim. You may think, oh, but they're so nice and they answer my calls and they say that they got me covered. Yeah, file a claim. See how that goes. They'll pay because legally they'll pay what they're legally, because it's highly regulated, but they're going to look for every possible way they can get out of filing that fucking, for paying that claim.
Mm-hmm.
And they
just had a case that got tossed. So the insurance company won because they successfully argued because the attack came from Russia, that it was nation state and then fell under active war.
Yeah,
Yep.
I saw that one. That was bad.
And they were able to leverage statements the White House has made.
Yep.
As
evidence.
proof that. Yep. And you guys saw Russia got excluded from the conference, right? 30 country ransomware summit. Russia's not invited.
Yeah, like they care.
No shit.
It's just more time they can spend on their code.
Right.
Well, I mean, you saw the scathing. I'm assuming both of you and the audience saw the scathing, not necessarily resignation, but the why did I leave the Air Force?
Yeah.
I mean, when one steps down from that role and says, what was the quote? Kindergarten, yeah, and it was real. I saw actually. I mean, knowing some of what's inside there, I absolutely, wholeheartedly, 100% go, yep, totally get it, which absolutely sucks. I saw a retort to it, which really actually pissed me off. I didn't get a chance to respond to it, but it was he did. Check his LinkedIn. He did. Oh yeah.
Oh, we got do we have a LinkedIn war going on?
A little bit.
A little bit. I like watching those from the sidelines. I'm an instigator. I started.
Oh, how bad! I didn't see it. How bad?
It just, stones are being thrown, and there was something to the effect of overzealous journalists not getting it right. Why don't you go back and watch and see what I said?
Oh, nice, nice. Well, we've had incident responses, numerous, and one that, just one example. Because what the advice is from the insurance company: when you have a breach, call your breach coach. What the fuck, a breach coach? Okay, so you call the breach coach. The breach coach is a lawyer.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, which is the fuck.
And the lawyer
who doesn't work for you.
No,
yeah.
No. And that's the like, yeah, my coach. I'm gonna call my coach. Yeah, okay, yeah, trust him. See how that goes. But anyway, so one incident. It was the breach coach says, we're just going to pay the ransom. Okay. So they negotiate the ransom and all this other stuff. And meanwhile, our team is like, we don't want to cover this. You need to rebuild the environment because there's no way to recover, right? So you need to rebuild the environment. And this is how much we think it's going to cost, which is less than your ransom. So why don't you get the insurance company to pay for this as opposed to paying a criminal paying the ransom, which is like 2-3 times the cost, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was in the millions. And no, that's not covered. What is covered is paying a ransom. What's not covered is rebuilding your environment. It's like, what the fuck? Okay. All right. So the breach coach, and so we're just kind of on standby, right? And then the breach coach, I think over the weekend, whatever happens, and then the breach coach gets a call from, I think, somebody in the federal government the FBI called. This organization's on the OFAC list. You can't pay the breach. Right? And so the insurance company's like, okay, well then, your coverage is null and void. Because what's not covered in the insurance is to rebuild your environment, and you can't pay the ransom. Therefore, see you later.
Yep.
Oh shit, man. I mean, talk
Now,
about.
That's because they sucked and they didn't have their offshore broker. Because that's the new move. You see, you got to get yourself an offshore broker, because then you pay the offshore guy, which is within the scope, because you're not actually paying the group directly. The broker takes.
I think OFAC would still take exception with that.
I hope they do, because it's a cottage industry right now.
Oh my God.
Actually,
Right
hang
back,
on. I just reading New York Post, for good or for bad. I was actually reading the piece about him. It comes as a new poll shows that about 9 in 10 Americans are at least somewhat concerned about hacking. We won't even go there on that one, while about 2/3 say they are or very extremely concerned. The poll by Pearson's and Associated Press shows that roughly 3/4 also eyed the Chinese and Russian governments as major threats to the cybersecurity of the US government. I'd love to know how many people were in that fucking poll and where they drew them from.
7. one neighborhood in Massachusetts.
Oh, God, help us, seriously.
We can do a study. As long as our sample group is 2, we can do a study.
Yeah.
100% of respondents said.
Yeah.
What is it? 99% of dentists support teeth. I got your stats.
Yeah. Teeth are good. Do them. Have them. Well, we were talking about after the conference today, just how great everything went. And we're kind of just recapping, the management team and we're talking about, the one part of the conference that got the most questions was definitely that insurance talk, right? And so we were kind of, why was that? And I think the reason is because you're taking away everybody's easy button.
Yep.
Everybody saw, well, fuck it, I don't have to take security seriously. I got cyber insurance. And now they're like, oh, fuck, oh shit, now I got to do something? Now I got to have multifactor authentication. It's like, yeah. I mean, we were telling you this from the beginning.
Well, and the problem I see too is the vultures are swooping in hard with the, don't worry, I can check all those boxes at once for you.
Zero trust, brother.
Oh yeah, well, isn't that just how we walk through? I don't know about you guys. That's how I walk through life.
If you buy this right here, zero trust.
Hey, I got you better. No, I got mine's protected. Mine. Where's mine, motherfucker? Mine's not just zero trust; it's quantum enabled.
Mine
has lots of buttons and options and thingies.
My zero trust is shiny.
Mine has a switch. You can turn the trust on and off.
I got old school zero trust.
My zero trust plus this.
Oh, shit.
This is our reality, you guys.
I had to say to Evan earlier today, one of the hardest parts of being in business in this industry right now with integrity, and we will win in the end, but it's you can't do the dazzle. You can't make up the stuff and tell the lies and claim the claims. It's hard. And that's what this story is really about. It's about somebody who tried to exercise their integrity, who tried to do the right thing, who tried to speak up in a most respectful way, in a most humble way, to draw fact.
And he was squashed.
smash, crushed.
And you know, the thing is
Twice.
too.
Did you get the follow-up message? Because there was it continued into a second day.
Oh yeah, one and it's not just like in reality too. In their reality, they would have never done that to me. They would have never done that to Chris. They would have never done that to you. So part of their perception of this reality is this is a new security guy who, what the fuck do you know anyway? You got no power. You got no power. You're just some little fucking twerp. You know, nobody gives a shit about security. Go back to your hole. Oh, and by the way, we love you.
Well, yeah, because we don't want to lose you because the insurance man just said if we don't have one of you, we're not going to be covered.
Right.
Who's going to check the boxes?
Yep.
No shit, exactly.
Well, and I heard rumor in the grapevine. I kind of like this idea, but I also see how it'll go horrible. But the rumor is this year it's MFA, but next year it's named human on staff with proven competency.
No, for fuck's sakes.
And or managed service, which is why I got calls this week from MSPs looking to do things with insurance and insurance looking to do things with MSPs because the MFA is a stopgap. The paperwork this year is a stopgap measure. That's it. They're scrambling to figure out how they get the right actuarial data, you know, because they're trying to do insurance the way they do everywhere else. And now that they know they can't do the willy-nilly like they did when they first started doing it, now it's gotten serious. They're trying to get the data. Well, who has the data? There's certain key MSPs that have more traffic data and you know signature data than others.
Yeah, but for actuarial data, you have to have loss data, right? You have to have how much did this cost? What was the damage? You know, and that data doesn't get shared. It's never gotten shared.
Right.
The only way you're going to get it shared, and you still won't get it shared, is to mandate it. Make it like a criminal. You know what I mean? If you don't share a breach, but even that doesn't work because most organizations are so much in a different reality, they don't even know they're having a breach. You can dwell in a fucking environment forever, steal every bit of fucking data you ever had, get out, and you never knew I was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, so was there any loss? Well, maybe not to the company, but there was loss somewhere else, right? Somebody's going to pay for that. Somebody always pays the price.
Well, and don't be squishing juniors. We need juniors. When I gave a talk this week, one of the things I said is I make it a point to have 20-year-olds that I talk to. There's so much shit I don't know that's going on in this world. The things they're finding, new vectors, new methods. I learned about the double encryption from one of the youngins. I learned about some of this new
invisible processes.
Well, no. I learned that from a sales guy. But what I do learn from these young guys, because they're hungry to keep up with it, and they don't have a meeting schedule that's overbooked, and they don't have other tasks and things that, you know, they're new, they're fresh, they haven't been beaten up enough yet. They're still really excited. And so they can stay up and do all that research on that one narrow band thing, right? So we need them. And
so Chris, sorry, real quick. Sorry to interrupt you, brother.
No, it's all good.
Chris,
I was just going on a tangent.
No. It was perfect. And I'd already interrupted you before. I was like, fuck, I interrupted him. Sorry. But because sometimes I like interrupting you because you talk too fucking much, but then you don't. And then it's like, shit, what am I doing? Sorry. Fuck me. Chris, when your daughter gets there, can we sing happy birthday to her?
Totally.
All right.
Yeah, I said to come down when she gets here, come down, because that'll be my cue to bug out at some point. But yeah, I'm packed. She has to get packed, and we got to get stuff sorted out because we're out of here at some stupid at like 4 o'clock in the morning for an early flight to go down to Florida. So, but I'll be here for that. And you guys are welcome to do the happy birthday thing. She would probably get a kick out of that, but probably I'll get punched. But it'll be fun.
Yeah, and we'll end the show. We'll close right after that singing. Happy birthday.
If you guys are okay with that, that's appreciated because it's a big one for 18.
Yep. Try it as an adult. I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. Scary. I don't think she realizes that yet. We'll find out.
Adult court is a hell of a lot different than that juvenile court. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
no shit.
Juvenile court, they're like, okay, a little bit of community service, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Adult
Yep.
court, they put these things on your wrists and they fucking hurt and shit. It's too tight.
Depends what you go to juvenile court for.
It's like, I'm like, it's too tight. And they're like, well, let's make it tighter. How's it feel now? You want a little bit more of that? No, sir, I'm good. Thanks. Because I was never agile enough to get out of cuffs. You know, you see those people that can get out of cuffs. You know, look at this guy. I can't get out of anything. I can hardly get off the fucking chair. You know, it takes 10 minutes to get off the chair some days.
Cuffs suck, but leg irons are worse.
I've not had to worry about leg irons. I've not been leg ironed. That is the one thing I've managed to avoid. Famous last words so far.
Yep.
You get to do the shuffle.
Uh-huh.
No.
Well, that actually works for me because I think the only thing leg irons really stop you from is running. And I don't run anyway, so it's like whatever.
They do make the walking a little bit harder. The walking does get and you got those slippers on and you're trying to shuffle.
Right. So this reality thing, you know, let's say in this one organization, shit does hit the fan. Because it's a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's a matter of time for everybody. I mean, I don't know if you're walking around thinking you got all your shit together, like it ain't gonna happen to me. I'm hack proof. Yeah, right. You're fucked. We all are, right? To some extent, you all have incidents. You had an incident last week. Your car got broken into, or this week, or whenever, right? Everybody has incidents. The goal was never risk elimination. That was never the goal. It's never the goal for anybody. Stop that shit. The goal is risk management. Part of risk management is understanding where your risks are, accounting for those, making decisions on what you're going to do with them. Some risks I accept, some risks I don't, right? Those ones, and no matter what, you have this thing, right? Logically, in no matter what fucking reality you're in, a bad thing is guaranteed to happen. Therefore, you have no excuse for not having a plan for it. What are you going to do when shit hits the fan? Everybody should have that. Most people don't. You know, maybe blue pill is like, it's never going to happen. Whatever. I don't know what the fuck happens. But so in this one place, just like every place, in this one place, a bad thing is going to happen. And with the mentality that they have right now from that management team, it's going to be a really bad thing, right? It's going to be a bad thing because they don't have the proper, they don't fucking even know what risks they have, right? So you have no preventative measures, really. I mean, you have some, but fuck, you don't know where the risks really are. You don't
not if you're going to actively ignore them.
Right. And so I seriously doubt you have a fucking plan if shit does hit the fan. So you're gonna read about them in the news. I would say, I don't know. I would guess sometime within the next 12 months for sure. You know what I mean? That's just kind of
it's
the way
going to happen. Probability, probabilities. That I think you had a 1 in 3 chance of being taken out in a 12-month period. So yeah, chances are they'll get nailed. And
this is a highly targeted industry right now.
Oh, did you see that? Speaking about highly targeted industries, did you see that fucking IIS6 server I posted up on bloody Twitter?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, people. Seriously, get this fucking shit off the internet.
It's crazy.
Current top stat, 2,200 cyber attacks a day.
Okay. Yeah. But I'm guessing what will hit this one will be ransomware.
Yeah, and that's just reported. Let's
and I won't say. Never mind. Moving on. There's another more likely scenario.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah. So let's just assume then in the next 12 months something bad's going to happen.
Very bad.
I want us to go back to this tape. Not tape. It's not taped anymore. I'm fucking 80s guy now.
It is tape. Somewhere, somebody still commits things to tape. So
right,
we'll call it tape.
But we're gonna go back to this because it'll be public then. and we're going to call it out.
Yeah.
I would love to call it out right now, but I have really what's keeping me from doing that is the person who's there.
Well, and you and I can talk offline about helpful ways to do that. So I've been thinking a lot about responsible disclosure because I've been getting asked a lot about it from some of the youth I mentor. And one of the things that unfortunately you do have to factor in is if there is no imminent threat to human life within the moment, you can damage your career really bad. And if you're just getting started in your career, the right answer might be to quit, sidestep, anonymous disclose after you've gotten out.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get sucked in, roped in. But the other thing I tell them is the instant you get asked to be part of any kind of cover up or, hey, can we just make those log files go away because they show things? You've got to go. You've got to because if you don't, you stay past that moment. If you take the money under the table, if you do any of those things, you're liable.
Yeah, and be careful what you sign on the way out the door too.
Yeah, yes.
Big time. Big time.
And this one,
get a lawyer.
Maybe. Yeah. This guy, yeah, shit, man. This
Actually,
guy,
not even a maybe. Get a lawyer. You never sign exit documents or entry stuff without having a lawyer on your side look at that shit. Just learn from somebody who didn't do that properly and go digging out of it almost 7 years later.
Yeah, very good point, man. Very good point. Good advice. And the one thing this guy said to me, because we're friends, right? I want to see him succeed. He's in this business for the right reasons. And those are the people I pour into, right? We talk about mentoring the next generation. It's things like this, right? Helping them navigate, encouraging them, don't give up. We need you in this industry. You're in it for the right reasons. You got skills, all that stuff. But then he he said something to me, which made a lot of sense to your point, right? He's new in this industry. He's not well established yet. He said, well, it's easy because I'd given him some advice. He goes, well, that's easy for you to say. Mm-hmm. You got 30 years into this industry, your career's not going to be crushed and you got money. It's like, good point. That's a really good point. So let's devise another plan then, and so the plan is, I think, for him to look for another position, look for another job, get out of there. It's a toxic environment. Use this as an example and a story, maybe in 10, 15, 20 years when you're been in the industry as long as we have, and you'll find a job anyway at this point. You know what I mean? And then,
everybody's, there's a lot of people hiring.
And then maybe once he is sidestepped and clearly safely out of the way, maybe then I'll do something.
Close, whistle blow, do something. Depends on the industry. It depends on the industry. If it's an industry that maybe DHS would be interested in, that's a conversation. If it's an industry that any of the other folks will be interested in, there's definitely places.
Yeah, Ryan just put it in the chat for you.
Yeah.
And not just run of the mill either, Chris. Big one.
Got it. No, I get the logic. The challenge is that industry, I got no fucking clue. I wouldn't know where to start on that one, to be honest. Actually, who'd be a good one to talk to on that one? Maybe John Gates. And we'll leave it at that. Mm-hmm. But John might be a good one to have a conversation with because he's familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you and I, between the three of us, we have a lot of connections there.
Yeah.
It's just, we need to make sure this person's safe and out of the way.
Got it. First. That makes sense. It just sucks. I mean, and that unfortunately doesn't surprise me now. It sucks. I mean, we all talk about certain industries being the worst or being most at risk. That is definitely one that crops up, and unfortunately, it crops up because the humans.
Right.
I remember doing a conference for that industry a couple of years ago, and having the conversations, and it was great, and everybody loved it. And then everybody gave me the 25 reasons why they couldn't do anything about it, and 22 or 23 of those reasons were all human related. That if they'd have sat down and figured shit out, they could have easily gone past it. Just pisses me off.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, one thing I have zero tolerance for is excuses.
Yeah.
When this is clearly your fucking like role.
Yeah.
My daughter brought home a boy for me to meet tonight.
Oh, a new one?
Wow.
Well, you know, it's that age.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The good thing is she's not making shitty choices. She's not, you know, you're worth more. Treat yourself that way. And if the boy, tell daddy, please. And but this boy comes over, man. He is like, I was talking to my wife afterwards. I'm like, because we don't meddle either. I'm not meddling in my daughter's relationship. But my wife and I, you know, went and got coffee afterwards, and I'm like, I'd marry that kid. That kid's fucking awesome. I mean, he's like straight shooter. Like, he's just like, talk to me eye to eye.
Nice.
Respectful. Called me sir. Carried on a very good conversation. He's got a plan. I mean, the kid's like, wow. I'm like, so my wife and I are both baffled. Like, how did my daughter find this one? Like, holy shit. Now, chances are pretty good, right? When you think about it, that it's not going to work out, right? I mean, come on, you're 16, 17 years old. Rarely does it. If it does, awesome. Way awesome.
Yeah.
Like, but the, where was I going with this? Oh, we were talking about responsibilities, you know, and because I came out and asked him, I go, so you like my daughter? He's like, yeah. I go, you going to treat her all right? He goes, yeah. Tell me what that's like. He's like, well, I'm going to get, you know, I'm going to get to know her. You know, I just want to spend time. You know, I want to, I said, are you going to help her get her shit together? Because she's got some shit that she needs to get together. And he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, all right, we can work together on this. That'll be good. She can use it, you know? But then he, you know, he's going to school for being a coach. Going to school, he wants to be a coach, a sports coach, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
And he's from Texas. Really good kid, man. And so I was telling him, you know, you don't even, there's so many parallels between sports and business. Being a coach, you know what I mean? If I want to build a winning team, I have to have the right players in the right place, and they have to fulfill their role, right? I can't have a wide receiver playing quarterback. That shit don't work.
Right.
It's funny because Ryan and I just had this conversation sort of about the same thing before I got home and I met this kid. It was like really cool. So, because I've been asked, you know, I get asked, you know, somewhat regularly, hey, Evan, you know, what can I do better? You know, at work, you know, or what can I, you know, what can I do to help? And my answer is always the same. Just do your shit. Just do your shit. If everybody did their shit, fuck, the world would be a great place, right? Just everybody's got to do their shit. Everybody's got a role on this team. That's how teams win, right? Everybody is in the right position. They've got the right technique. They know the game plan. And they play their role. They don't try to play somebody else's role. They understand their role, you know, intimately. If they don't, the whole team suffers. We lose games, right? And life is so much like that. But you know, in our game, so many people don't even know they're in the fucking game. You know, I mean, you're playing linebacker and you're getting mowed over. You're like, what the fuck's happening? Well, you're in a fucking football game and you're getting your ass kicked. So time to step up. Well, I don't even know what my role is. Fucking learn it. And the best teams, what do they focus on? I mean, if you played sports growing up, and you went to practice every day, every single fucking day, what did you do?
Oh, I know this one. Fundamentals.
Every fucking day.
Yeah.
same damn drills over and over and over.
Over and over again.
I hated practice. I'm like, okay, you know.
One swing, one turn, one swing, one turn, one swing, one turn,
Right.
and a fucking 100 yards of one swing, one turn. Yeah, man.
But
Oh, yeah.
and the reason why you did that was because that's what winners do. That's what champions do. Right? If you want to win the game, you master the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody gives a shit about your awesome, you know, cleats that are all sparkly out there on the fucking football field. You don't understand the fucking fundamentals. Everybody's impressed because you look so fucking sweet out there. And how many times have you seen players, you know, and especially in like high school, man, they look awesome. I mean, they're sleek. Their uniforms look shit. They look like they've got the shit together. They're the worst player on the fucking team.
Right.
Because they didn't understand the fundamentals. You don't even understand the role. You know, so as a coach, what you do with those players is you teach them the fundamentals. And then when they don't get the fundamentals, say they just refuse to, you're off the team. Go sit. Because the whole team's suffering because you can't do your shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so you apply that same thing to like business, right? Take FR Secure. You know, business I obviously know intimately. If you can't fulfill your role on the team, either find another role or you're off the team. It's not cruel. It's not mean. It's actually cruel to keep them on the team because the rest of the team suffers because of you. So as a coach, you know, you get them off the team. Now apply that to like the next level, right? So that's the way we do it at a business, hopefully. You know, what about the rest of this shit? Instead, what we do is we don't let you like, I don't know, man. It just seems like we got to figure out what fucking roles are. What are you supposed to be doing? And do it.
Well,
Get good at it.
I'd argue we know what, I mean, we know what they are. We've talked about it week after week after week after week after week after week. The problem is we need to be talking outside of this bloody, I mean, we are to some degree talking about outside the echo
We're
chamber.
working on it.
I know. That's what you saw.
No. We're Pima.
Yeah, I was going to, exactly. That's where I'm going with it. You see exactly what we're doing Thursday night. Either bring your cardboard or we're going dumpster diving for cardboard. I will have big thick Sharpies with me and every single one.
I don't get into like 10:30. It's a crazy multi-airline travel day for me that day.
Well, then Friday. Seriously, Friday morning when we get up and we've had breakfast, we're going out. We are
night owls. We can
No, because there will be many people panhandling and they'll try to probably proposition us as well, which could be fun, but it's probably not what we want. And I don't really need to spend the night in jail. So anyway, Friday morning, when everybody's out for traffic, and this means I've got to actually get up at a reasonable hour of the morning, we're going panhandling. You saw the post, you saw what we're doing, and I want to put a post out about that. I actually want to put a post out probably before Pima and.
But I think for me, it's even that next level up. So it's the panhandle, but it's also that young, malleable audience.
Oh, the kids, yeah.
What would I impart to a youth? What do I say all the time to anyone who will listen? So let's talk about how you got to talk different.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the textbook taught you how to turn the thingy things, but now you need to know how to actually. Yeah. That's what we need. We have to engage the business. We have to, and who are the business? In most cases, they're that latter 50%, or no, rather the first 50%. Right? So.
No, it's definitely that stuff. I mean, I mean, I put a few things behind the scenes for Rachel as well. I did a fun write up, which I hopefully will see later day. But I also, I mean, I want to break down it. It's going to be broken down. Where the hell did I send it to her? I sent something to her like.
You know about this, right, Ev? What we're doing, going down to Pima College, cyber range.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a rug rat.
Spend some time with the kids.
I approve as long as it's legal. Well, I approve as long as it's.
Here we go. I got a rug rat.
Not if it's not legal.
I think.
And then legal if it's legal.
Yeah, no, it'll be legal. It'll actually be legal because we got people involved that need to keep legal. Oh shit! Is she here? Oh god! Guess which terrible father hasn't signed her birthday card?
Oh yeah.
Done everything else. Didn't sign the birthday card.
You know what I do when I sign birthday cards? I write Merry Christmas.
I love it.
If you do it enough times, then they just expect it. Yeah. So I don't know. The reality is, truly the reality is we're fighting the same battles over and over and over again. And I do think we are making progress slowly, right? It takes a hell of a lot of patience. I was also telling, there you go. I was also telling, in the closing today, maybe I said it, I don't remember. But if you take this, I'm going to go find a presentation that I gave 20 years ago and see if it's just the same presentation with just different words and a different slide deck. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, man, really?
And a smidgen more wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah. When I think one of the, we're writing a book right now, the VCSO handbook, and it's going to define this role, right? What does a VCSO do? What's the proper technique? What's the fundamentals? If you're going to hire a VCSO and put them on your team, what do they look like? How do they play? How do you measure their success, right? Is it the number of tackles they make? Is it, the number of rushing yards they prevent? I mean, what is it that actually makes that a thing? I think
chaos.
What's that?
Brings organized to chaos.
No, that's what I do.
Yeah, but I think we need more of that, right? We've talked about like a CEO, right? What does a CEO do? What is truly their responsibility? Like define it like this. If you don't do this, you're negligent, right? Take the CFO. What's your job? This with cybersecurity, right? You've got other things, but like functionally, fundamentally, what do we need from you in your role? Instead, what we've got is like, well, fuck everything, like you take this organization that we're dealing with today, their reality is they're doing their role. They don't think they're negligent. They don't think they're doing anything wrong. Right? So I think we have to define it. We have to communicate it. We have to hold them accountable for it. Defining it and communicating it are fairly easy, I think. Holding them accountable for it is going to be the hardest part. But until we do that, keep spinning your wheels, man. We'll be here 20 years from now doing the same fucking thing. If we haven't burned.
That's the problem. I don't want to be, I don't know if we'll be here in 20, 30 years from now. That's part of the problem. I don't see this situation being sustainable by any stretch of the imagination.
It's not. And that's our reality, right? So you talk about these alternate realities. That is our reality. And in my opinion, my reality is fucking fact.
Yeah. No, it's a tough one. I think that's part of it is just I don't see. I think that's part of the challenge at the moment. I don't see a good end to this.
It's going to take a hell of a lot of hard work and probably some miracles.
To me, it's again, as humans, we don't question our reality until something happens. We just don't. We like our life. And I don't care if you're under the average or in some ways arguably over the average. Those people that are over the average, how many of those people are sitting there sipping their waters at their meetings out of their fucking, I can go buy 24 for $2 at Costco water bottles, and how many of them are, I'm just a bad driving this fast cars. We all like to postulate on exactly what the future holds, but very few like to stand up and go, hey, I'm going to make a difference. I think partly because we think one person out of 330 million or 7.5 billion isn't going to do it. And so we just wait back and wait for anybody else to do it. And the problem is after that amount of time, it's how many dead bodies before we will fucking stand up and do something about it.
But you can. I gave a talk.
Give me bodies. Give me bodies.
Nope.
Yep.
I got better than a body. I got a message that I had a couple conversations and I got some beautiful messages, but the most powerful thing that was said was, due to your presentation given by one guy, I am now fundamentally rethinking about how we engage our user base.
Good. That actually makes me, and this was the presentation you were talking about, the slide and stuff.
Yeah.
Good. That actually
Care
makes me,
Bears.
I'm pleased. That makes me happy for you.
Right. And he wasn't the only one, but he was the first one to come up and say, like, in the hallway during the bathroom break, like, everything made sense. I've been banging my head on the wall. I just didn't have the tools. I wasn't thinking about it that way.
Well, and when you think about it,
Edison invented a light bulb.
the future is very, I mean, I predict the future a lot on linear logic, right? I see, where we are and kind of where we're going. It's fairly linear. It doesn't, it bumps, but you know what I mean? And the way you think about that stuff is you analyze how things got to where they are today. You know what I mean? And we have a perspective, being in this industry for as long as we have, we knew things the way they were 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago. And take things like, how did this get into my hand? People don't think that way, I think, just generally. But when you think about how this got into my hand, it was, manufactured somewhere, right? It went through some sort of formulation to create the juice, whatever the hell the shit's in here. It was put into this can, and it was, the can was manufactured, it was sealed, it was whatever. It went down the line, we got into this packaging thing, and the thing took it to another thing. And you think all that stuff through.
Yep.
And we need to start applying that to ourselves as well, because you're right, Ryan. We have created disciples. Disciple is a Christian word, by the way. Disciple is a follower. And we have disciples, and we're making a difference. Hey, let's sing happy birthday. Are you ready for this?
All right, here we go. Ready?
You have to stay here no matter how bad it is.
It's going to be bad.
I'm a really shitty singer. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy
birthday to you.
Happy birthday to
you. The dog's leaving. The dog's like, get the hell out of here. Run now while you can. Dear Morgan.
Happy birthday
to you.
Yay.
Thank you.
Hey, just my advice, it's adult court now. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the problem. Though. You get out of the food you're pain in the
You
ass.
might not want to eat that.
Yeah, you want to take that back up, and I'll be up in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Morgan, real quick, as a father of 2 daughters, I'm really, really proud of you. Hope you have the best time ever with your dad on this trip. Make as many memories as possible. It's going to be awesome. So I'm excited for you.
I'm excited too. Excited to camp with the alligators.
Yeah, we're going camping.
Gotta
I haven't
give
told her
up
where we're
AC
staying.
for
We're
4
going camping.
days.
That shit ain't happening. I've arranged a portable AC thing to be delivered to the tent. Yeah, we're in good shape.
Good job, Morgan. Really proud of you.
Thank you.
All right, young lady. I'll be up in a minute.
I want my present.
Congratulations on achieving adulthood.
Thank you. I did it. I made it.
Yep.
Sometimes I wondered.
Do you want me to just?
Yeah.
Now
it's
the
okay.
fun begins.
I don't want to eat it.
All right.
Watch my.
Responsibility.
Yeah, no shit. All right, I'll be up in a minute, young lady. I promise.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. We
All
are
right.
making a difference, and I think sometimes we just because we look at the mountain we have ahead of us, we have changed some people's realities of what this is.
Yeah.
And the things that make our message resonate is where our hearts are. We are people of integrity. We do genuinely give a shit. We do genuinely love people. That comes across. And we're blunt. We tell you the truth. People don't forget that, right? Chris, I remember the talk you gave at SuperCon, and a couple people came up to me afterwards like, I'm really depressed now. He didn't give me an out. He didn't give me nothing to work with. I'm like, but you'll remember that shit. You won't forget it. And people need to remember this stuff because it's a change of reality. And I think we just keep focusing on what we're doing. Even though it seems like we're not making a big difference, it's only the 3 of us. People listen. People spread it because it's the fucking truth.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm going to leave it at that. I think we just keep doing what we're doing and keep looking for more people to disciple and bring on board, and let's do it.
To quote Richie, I'm gonna channel my inner Richie. Stay hydrated, Chris. You're going to the mouse house.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you come back in one piece.
Don't kill Mickey.
Oh, come on, it's fun.
However, if you do manage to find the door in the tree.
Actually, not last time I was there, a few times before I was there, Space Mountain all of a sudden lit up and everything stopped for a while. I fucking knew how that happened. Just one of those surprise things.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Have fun. Travel safe. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
As always, it's awesome.
Take care. Stay safe.
Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.